trying to communicate with him using our crisis negotiation team. We were able to determine that he was up in the attic of the home. We ended up deploying gas in the attic of the home, which forced him to drop through the ceiling into the main part of the house. And after a while, he kept refusing to come out. We knew where he was, so we just had to go in and get him.
Does he have any prior criminal history?
He's got an extensive prior criminal history, yes.
Anything specifically regarding child pornography before this latest?
I know he had a prior arrest but was not convicted.
Now, is there distribution of child pornography, possession? What was the...
Well, that's very much still under investigation. So he was charged with possession. I believe it was 17 counts. But there is an ongoing aspect to this investigation, where some of the things information that he shared with the individual in Indianapolis needs to be investigated further here. So we're concerned that we have victims locally.
That individual in Indianapolis, I assume they've been arrested as well?
To my knowledge, that's what I was told, yes.
Was he making porn here, just getting it from someone else and sharing? What was he doing, allegedly?
You know, that part's still we're investigating. There's a few things that I'm not ready to talk about, but at this point, he's charged with possession.
But you say you're concerned that there could be victims in the area. Why is that?
I can't really speak to that right now. I would love to, but we'll do that in a follow-up conversation. How's that?
Okay. What was your biggest concern when you were going to serve this warrant? And is that why you have the tag team with you, because you may expect something may happen? How do you determine to bring?
Well, as a matter of practice, we have our SWAT team execute all search warrants for us. They always clear the house, make sure everything's secure, and then turn it over to detectives. But especially in a case like this, where a person's facing as much as life in prison, you know, you have to be concerned that they could be pretty desperate. So we want to take all precautions we can take and make sure that, you know, everything goes as well as it possibly can.
Were any weapons found on him?
No, he had no weapons.
Now, just a couple weeks ago, you guys had a standoff in the parking lot. Now you have this, which doesn't qualify as a standoff because there were no weapons. But isn't this something that you guys train for every day? You guys make sure that you're ready when the call comes.
Right. Our SWAT team practices multiple times every month. And not only practice, they actually execute several warrants every month and high liability situations for us. So they're top notch. They're ready to go. And, you know, it's expensive, but we do it the right way because our citizens deserve the best possible, you know, situation. So.
Do you know what he did for a living? Was he employed at any?
That I don't know. I don't know that.
What goes through your head when you hear someone could have this, let alone if they produced it, received it, however it went, that they had this?
Well, you know, preying on children is probably the most egregious thing a person can do, in my opinion. And in this situation, you know, just by possessing and exchanging that, you're promoting the business in and of itself. But the possibility of maybe being involved in the production is a whole nother circumstance. And, you know, we have to do everything we can to protect the children in the community. And, you know, as we've demonstrated, we're not going to pull any stops.
You mentioned he was arrested last night. Do you know if he had a first court appearance today and or bonded out yet?
No, he's not bonded out. His bond, I believe, is set at $340,000.
What would you tell I guess, the families here who, you know, people who have kids, you say something may have happened locally. What would you tell the community?
Well, I don't want to put anybody in any panic yet because, you know, that's still under investigation and it's not confirmed. And you know, when we get down that road, we'll have that conversation. But, you know, you just have to be very careful who you trust with your children. You have to vet out anybody that you have even babysit for your children. And you have to monitor what your kids are doing online and what they're looking at and what kind of, because a lot of these incidents, the kids are now filming this material themselves. So you have to look at your kids' phones. You have to make sure you limit their access on the internet, and you have to be vigilant. A lot more than parents are used to being. Technology is really changing everything and creating a bunch of new threats. Good?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Unless there's something else you want to say.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You got it.